And welcome back. It is the 21st of May, higher plus 5 a day, and let's just jump straight to the first one. So first one, a line passes through A 1, 4 and B 5, 16. Find the equation of the line perpendicular to AB that passes through the midpoint. So basically just a perpendicular bisector, isn't it? So let's start by finding M. So M is the average of the X values, so 5 plus 1 divided by 2, which is 3. And the average of the Y values, 16 plus 4 divided by 2, which is 10, which tells me what my M value is. Then the gradient to get from A to B, well, in Y value, I'll go from 4 to 16, which is up 12, and the X's go from 1 to 5, which is up 4, and 12 divided by 4 is 3, which means my gradient A to B is 3, which means my perpendicular gradient is going to be minus a third. Not very nice numbers. Then I want the line that has a gradient of minus a third that goes through 3 tenths. So let's write that down. So Y equals minus a third X plus C. I'm going to use 310. So in other words, 10 is equal to minus a third. Well, thankfully this is a 3, which makes it an easier number, times by 3 plus C. Now, minus a third times 3 is minus 1. Add 1 to both sides gives me 11. And that, I'm going to write it here so I don't squeeze it in. That's going to C equals 11, which means the equation of the perpendicular bisector is minus a third X plus 11. And that's question done. Good question, that. Next one. Al-Zara has 10 black socks, 8 white socks and 2 blue socks. I'm going to write that down first of all. So black socks is 10, white socks is 8, and blue socks also annoyingly begins with B. We can say BL for blue, which gives me 2. So in other words, there's 20 socks overall. That seems relevant. She picks 2 socks at random without replacement. Calculate the probability she chooses 2 socks of the same colour. Right, so we've done questions like this before, haven't we? So it's going to be blue and blue. It's going to be white and white, and it's going to be blue. Sorry, black and black at the start and blue here, isn't it? Let's work these out. So black and black is going to be 10 over 20 times 9 over 19. One less sock, one less to choose from. White and white is going to be 8 over 20 times 7 over 19. You can see the denominator are always the same, which is crucial. And blue is 20 over 20 times 1 over 19. Now I'm going to leave the denominators unsimplified. So they're all over 380. In other words, 19 times 20. And then I can just work out the tops now. So 10 times 9 is 90. 8 times 7 is 56. And 2 times 1 is 2. Add all these numbers up. Well, it's over 380. And so that's going to be 90 plus 56, which is 146 plus 2, which is going to be 148 over 380, which will simplify, but that's fine for probability. Next question. Prove algebraically that this is an even number. Okay, so let's just start by expanding. So if I expand, I've got 16n squared plus 4 times 2 is 8n, and 1 times 1 is 1. Then I'm going to take away 2n, and I'm going to do minus 1, which is plus 1. So all of this together is going to give me 16n squared plus 6n plus 2. Now, in order to show it's even, which is the key of the question, I need to factorise a 2 out. So it's going to be 8n squared plus 3n plus 1. Now, I can factorise more. Well, actually, I can't. But even if I could, I only want to factorise out the 2. Because the whole point is that I'm showing that 2 is a factor. And so, therefore, it is even. And that's question done. Now, it's a bit more rigorous at A level. But again, the basic idea is the same. Next question. The nth term of a quadratic sequence is n squared plus 4n. 2 consecutive terms have a difference of 25. Work out the 2 terms. All right, so my first term, un, is going to be n squared plus 4n. Tell us about the question. My second term is un plus 1, in other words, the next consecutive term. So that's going to be n plus 1 squared plus 4n plus 1. And then the difference between those two is going to be 25. So I can set this up, can't I? Now it's going to be big minus small. So in other words, n plus 1 squared plus 4n plus 1 minus n squared minus 4n is going to be equal to 25. I'm going to do a bit of maths in one go here. So I'm going to expand in one go all of it. That's going to be n squared plus 2n plus 1 plus 4n plus 4 minus n squared minus 4n is equal to 25. And then very carefully collect. So my n squareds cancel, that's handy. Then I've got 2n plus 4n, got to be careful because I can't read my writing, so 4n is 6n, minus 4n is going to give me back to 2n. So 2n is equal to, well, 1 plus 4, so again 1 and 4 is 5, and then move 5 to the side is 20, so 2n is 20, which means that n is equal to 10. Now what's the question? What it says? Work out the two terms, so I need the terms. So therefore the 10th term and the 11th term. So let's do this. I'm going to put them back into here. So 10 squared is 100 plus 40 is 140. 11 squared is 121 plus 44, which is 165. And that's it. Good question, that. Nice question. Next one. Okay, we're back to one of these. We've seen a few of these before, haven't we? So find y. Everything in terms of 3. So 3 to the power of 4 to the y. Divided by, well, let's write it down. So 3 to the y minus 5 is equal to 3 to the 1 plus a half, which is 3 to the 3 over 2. The left-hand side is going to be 3 to the 4y minus y plus 5 is equal to 3 to the 3 over 2, which in other words means, well, 4y minus y is 3y, and plus 5 is equal to 3 over 2. Now, it depends how much you like fractions here as to what I do for the next step. I'm going to double everything. So 6y plus 10 equals 3, which means that 6y equals, well, 3 minus 10 is minus 7, which means that y is equal to minus 7 over 6. And that is today done. That's ever good mix of questions today. Really quite enjoyable. Not too bad. Definitely not too hard today. We've had harder days recently. Let me know how it went for you. Do like, subscribe. See you tomorrow.